Terry Jones is a well-loved stage star who has found her latest hit in The Lifespan of a Fact, opposite new BFFs Daniel Radcliffe and Bobby Cannavale. Hear the two-time Tony Award winner talk about her 30-plus year Broadway career and her new sex symbol status on this week's Show People. Hello, Miss Jones.
Hello, Mr. Paul.
So good to see you.
Very happy to be here.
I love when you are around, on the stage and doing what you do. Because I see you on the TV a lot and in the movies a lot, but I like when you're on Broadway. How about you? Do you like it?
Well, you never see me with this much of a shit-eating grin unless I'm on stage. And that's the truth. I'm so happy.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You are in The Lifespan of a Fact. It's a big hit, by the way. I don't really look at grosses that often, but it has like numbers like a musical.
Who knew?
I mean, this. Like,
we do have a couple of secret weapons in that show.
Well, so one of them is Mr. Daniel Radcliffe.
Mr. Daniel Radcliffe.
Definitely a secret weapon.
Who has a little bit of a resume.
A little bit of a fan base.
Yeah. And of course, Mr. Cannavale, the one
Bobby
who just
Cannavale.
scream when he makes his appearance on stage.
Yeah, this is a dream trio.
It really is.
Yeah,
and
for you too, not just for me.
Well, we celebrate it every single night together. We talk about it all the time. You know, if it had just been one pill of the three of us. But from the moment we started emailing each other right before we started rehearsal, it was clear that we were of the same world.
That it was going to be good.
Yeah.
So do you sometimes, I mean, it is a fact, I guess, that sometimes you do get stuck with a stinker.
I've experienced that really only about 4 times in my life, and that's just a guess.
Okay, let's name them. No, I'm kidding. We'd never do that because you are such.
You'd love
you're
to,
such a
Paul.
good person. I can't even imagine anything like negative coming out like that.
Well, I do tell close friends if I know they're about to work with someone who is
okay. Just a little warnings.
more difficult than they should be.
So going to Studio 54, by the way, did you ever go to Studio 54 back in the day?
I was scooping ice cream on 72nd Street. I was not the Studio 54 type.
Not your scene.
No.
But it's a lovely venue for playgoing now.
It is.
Yeah.
And you know, I'd seen so many things there over the years, you know, once Roundabout got there, but I had no idea. It's like a battleship underneath that stage. And it is a fabulous house crew. We have so much fun together every night.
So when you're doing a play with 2 people like this and you're seeing them every night, what's the energy like backstage? And is there a social scene outside the show, or is it mostly at the show, or do you guys hang out?
With us, it's at the show. And, you know, after the show, in dressing rooms and sharing our guests with each other.
Yeah.
And there was an impromptu party in my dressing room last night, mainly a couple of nights ago, mainly because Bobby's dressing room is not as large as mine, so he brought his party down and joined my party, and we just stayed till the sweet security there were ready to throw us out, I'm sure.
Did Alan Cumming do that all the time at that theater too?
He certainly did, although I first saw Alan Cumming was it the Henry Miller?
Yeah.
Was that where they first did Cabaret?
Yeah,
Because I went into that famous dressing room of his, because he had that little balcony. It was an old rooftop, and he put up fairy lights and turned it into one of the first Club Cummings.
And now it's an actual bar, which is crazy.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it went from a dressing room thing to a bar. It's nuts.
Perfect for him.
So, The Lifespan of a Fact, first of all, I love these 3 people, and this just sounds like what we need right now, because obviously it's dealing with a lot of things. You know, we have a president who just tweeted again about, you know, enemy of the people journalists, and I'm sorry, I just saw your whole body tense up, because that's sort of what we're living with. And I feel like we're getting an escape with things like this, and it's not specifically about that.
No, it's smart because it's not political.
Right.
Everyone can laugh, although at the end of Dan's speech every night about the importance that facts matter, he'll often get applause. You know, Doug Hughes said such a wonderful thing to me about the play. He said it's like one of those 1950s concoctions that could be about something that was important and timely, but the play itself didn't have to be important.
Right. You've been in the public eye for a very long time. A lot of things have been written about you. Any issues with like facts out there that aren't true?
Always.
Yeah, like tell me some.
I mean, I can't
stuff.
Of course, I can't think of any off the top of my head. Although I was on Fresh Air once with the great Terry Gross.
Yeah.
She asked me what it was like working with my wife on plays, and this was 100 years ago. And I said, "Well, I'm not married, Terry." And she said, "Aren't you and Paula Vogel married?" And No, as a matter of fact, we're not. We're friends, and I adore her, but we are not a couple. And she said, it's taped. We can take that out. But I mean, of course, she got it off the internet somewhere.
Right.
The internet.
You and Paul Vogel. Yeah, I missed that. I missed that wedding.
Yeah. Yeah. So did Paula's wife.
I just saw Boy Erased. You're in that, and I love when I see a movie or a TV show and you pop on. It just like I'm like, oh, it's like seeing someone from home. I love that, and you do a lot of this stuff.
I do.
You get a lot.
My friends call it small yet pivotal.
Small yet pivotal. Absolutely.
And they actually kind of are.
Yeah.
So it's really fun. I love just jumping in and jumping out. Although I did get to do Edward Norton's film Motherless Brooklyn.
I saw that, yeah.
I got to be there much longer than I normally am, and I love that as well because it's about the crew.
Yeah.
Getting to be in close proximity to the crew just sets our hearts on fire. And with the film crew, you're literally, as I am with these gentlemen right now, you're 4 or 5 feet away at all times making something together. And that on film, it just blows my mind. Because there'll be 200 people, and you'll suddenly be rolling, and it's as quiet as that. No movement, and everyone focused on this 1 3-second bit that will maybe make it into the film.
Right.
But there's something kind of magical about that. And it's the same with the crew backstage. It's wonderful because at Studio 54, often now the lighting operators and the automation will be down in the basement and do everything on a monitor.
Right.
But at Studio 54, they're actually on the deck with us. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah. It's just great.
You
it's
love
great.
it.
And we just finished up Broadway Cares, Equity Fights, AIDS.
Yeah.
And getting to watch Dan Radcliffe auction off this little book that he would carry every night through the show on stage. Yeah. And he would switch from that impeccable American accent to that irresistible English accent. And then Bobby and I would go out and collect. So then there was the experience with the audience that you don't usually get at all.
Right.
But thanks to Broadway Cares, you can.
You probably have more Harry Potter fans that are not Cherry Jones fans now. That's nice.
Well, it's interesting. What's terrific about this production is Bobby has such a strong fan base.
Yeah.
I've got the old New York theater fan base, and Dan has, I never call him Danny, I don't know why I just call and Dan has, the world fan base.
Yeah.
So it's a nice mixture of ages and,
Awesome. We're going to talk more with Cherry Jones after this break. We are back with two-time Tony winner Cherry Jones. Do you remember those Tony nights vividly, or do those nights kind of just go by in a blur?
I remember the first one vividly.
Yeah. I just watched the speech again. Do you watch it on YouTube over and over?
No, I don't. I mean, I enjoyed the second one more.
Yeah.
But I don't remember as much of it.
Right. I believe this is your 14th Broadway show. I'm counting The Angels in Americas as one.
Especially since I only did it for 7 weeks.
Oh, right,
I closed Angels in America.
Oh, you're the one.
I did feel a little responsible.
You closed Angels in America. You were the angel.
I was the angel.
So you came crashing down. Because in George C. Wolfe's production, it was a very dramatic crash down. Was that scary?
I never quite had enough rehearsal time and so I ended up upside down one night and couldn't get up. I
angel
had fallen
came down.
And I couldn't get up. Well, you had to do these flips.
Right.
And I did the flip down, but I didn't do it with enough gusto to get back up.
Wow.
And I was fortunately playing the angry angel at that point. So I wrapped my feet around it, and I did it in a very angry way. But I sort of looked like a big bat for a while there.
You made it work. So 14 or 15 shows, that's quite a career. So do you feel like one of the great ladies of the stage? Have you embraced that sort of...
I'm always surprised it's that many. Life moves at a clip, and you just have to keep up.
It's true. When you look back, like winning for the Heiress, your first Tony, do you go like, wow, I was so different then. My head was filled with so many different things.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
Because I remember when I got the script for the Heiress, a young agent at the agency told me that they wanted me to audition for Aunt Pennyman. And I was 39 years old, and I thought, oh, it happened so fast, you know. You just go from young leading lady to Aunt Pennyman, you know. and they'd made a mistake, and then they called back and said, they actually want you to read for Catherine. And then they called back a few minutes later and said, it's actually an offer.
You were sort of known as a great stage actor at that point, but to actually get the lead in something so prestigious like that was a big leap.
It was a big leap. I had no idea, you know, at the time how that was going to affect my life.
Right.
And it wasn't even my favorite role of it. People always assume that that's got to be my favorite role of all time. And
No, Pride's Crossing's your favorite role.
Well, it kind of is. Although,
which was fantastic.
Although, I mean, that was favorite in that literally throwing myself, you know, into the arms of my fellow castmates who caught me midair. So it was a tremendous last burst of that kind of, because at the ART in Cambridge, we were always doing incredibly physically difficult work because we were working with a lot of Europeans, directors.
So where did this all start? It started in Tennessee, right?
Yeah.
Paris, Tennessee.
My speech teacher was at the show last night. It's disturbing because she actually looks younger than I am. Everyone expects her to be this little weazened lady because I'm so old now. And I say that jokingly. I know, what is age? I kind of like being older though. I really, really like it.
I mean, aging is fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, because everything just gets
It's
easier.
fantastic until it's not.
Right.
My daddy used to say, the doctor asked him one day, Jack, are you afraid of dying? And he said, no, just the getting there, you know.
So let's talk about Jack and Joan.
Oh,
those are your parents.
my
Their names
beloved
sound fantastic together.
parents. They were remarkable people.
And you lost them how long ago?
In about 8 years ago,
Okay.
3 months apart.
Yeah.
They were such lights in my hometown. They both sang beautifully. Mother was a contralto, Daddy was a tenor.
Wow.
And they sang for all the fundraisers, charities, and they were just very enlightened, kind, fun, considerate human beings. As is my sister, who's, you know, at home in Paris, Tennessee, continuing their path. I'm so proud to be theirs.
I know you were close to them. I mean, you even said that you took the job on 24.
That was a miracle, that show.
Yeah, you were fantastic, by the way.
Well, that was fun.
The Emmy voters agreed, by the way. you see something like that coming, but then actually getting through it, and then, I mean, I just can't imagine what that was.
Well, again, I was very fortunate because my sister and I are so close that we just agreed on everything because our primary goal was to make sure we honored our parents' wishes, which both our parents wanted to leave their home feet first, and by God, they did.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Your Broadway debut was actually in a play called Stepping Out. It was a British play that came over. There was a movie later, and Jane Krakowski played your role in the movie.
Oh, did she? I never saw that movie.
Which is so funny though. Like you don't really. I don't think you and Jane Krakowski would go up for a lot of the same parts.
No, but we both had round faces and cheeks.
And you had to dance in that.
A little bit.
Right? It was about
A little
dancers,
bit.
right? You had to actually.
Tommy Toon, learning tap from Tommy Toon.
Well, yeah, right. People don't think of that.
And he did a fairly decent job with me. Can't blame him though.
He got through it.
2 left feet and knock knees.
Yeah, but when you got here, you had obviously come from ART, as you said, so you sort of were ready for this. Were you ready for New York? What was Cherry Jones like at that point?
One of my first things when I got back from ART was Paula Vogel's The Baltimore Waltz at the Circle
former
Rap.
Wife, yeah, Paula Vogel.
I mean, Paula Vogel.
Fake news.
This sounds pretentious, but I miss getting to do off-Broadway work, and I hope that I will be able to get a job off-Broadway soon, because I love small theaters. And I just love that contact with the audience, and I love what small theaters do. I'm hoping to be allowed back downtown
The dream is to get a nice off-Broadway gig.
Yeah. Because that's was where I was when I first got back from ART.
Right.
At Manhattan Theater Club and New York Theater Workshop, and it was on Perry Street.
I'm pretty sure they'll have you.
Well,
I'm sure off-Broadway
we'll
will have
see.
you again.
I'm getting to that awkward age.
All right, we're going to take another quick break. We'll be right back with more Cherry Jones. are back with Cherry Jones. I want to talk about Leslie Mackinaw. You are a lesbian sex symbol. We need to talk about this.
You know, that's certainly not how I would characterize it, but it is amazing how many straight women have responded to that character.
On Transparent.
On Transparent.
Fantastic arc. I love that character.
I did kind of blush my way through the entire 2 seasons I was on that show, because I always thought I was, kind of a tomboy lesbian, and what was required for that was something other, because Jill Soloway described her as a dude dyke. So I had to sort of butch it up a bit to honor
You butched it up.
the dude dyke and honor the aura of Ms. Eileen Miles, who I was basically playing a version of.
And you were chasing after younger ladies and
Gabby Hoffman.
yeah, Gabby Hoffman, and it was very sexy, and I loved it.
She was so great to play with.
I love when roles like this come along and they kind of people see you in a different way.
I know, it's
cool.
unbelievable. I mean, it was the last thing I sort of expected.
Yeah.
I barely ever get to kiss anybody in the things I do.
Right.
There are always these heavy dramas and so.
How many gay characters have you played?
Well, I've done Cloud Nine. I played the Maud Lynn characters in Cloud Nine, and I was in a wonderful Lifetime movie with Brooke Shields called What Makes a Family,
right,
and
that's right.
it really is a marvelous.
That's right, I do remember
marvelous,
that movie. It was fantastic.
It was beautifully directed. Brooke's work in it is, I think, her best ever. She's just incredible in it.
That was a beautiful movie. I forgot about it until you just mentioned it.
Yeah.
You came out very early on. Now actors come out as, I don't know what I am. I'm fluid. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm part gay. Maybe I'm on the spectrum. It's
great. It's great
such a
that
different
that's.
time.
I know, it's marvelous.
Such a different time. It's amazing.
I was in Paris, Tennessee, and I spoke to some 9th graders. In fact, every 9th grader in my county, all 300 of them. And at the end, this little ragtag band of misfits came up, and they were all about 13, 14 years old. And clearly, the little gay ones. And they wanted to know when I'd come out, and I told them, to my parents, I was 25, and Mother had to ask, because I was.
Oh, wow.
And I was out with everyone else all my life, but and
Mom was like, let's get this done.
Let's get this done. And so these children, I said, are any of you out? There are about 7 of them. We all are, they said. 13 years old. Tell me how it is possible in Paris, Tennessee, that you are in 9th grade and you are out. And the little toughie spokesperson for them all said, I can tell you in one word, Glee.
Wow. Meaning the TV show.
Yeah.
Wow.
How about that?
It's amazing.
Mr. Ryan Murphy.
Yeah. Wow.
Changed their lives.
Wow.
Made it cool.
Amazing.
Or at least passable.
So I want to hear about Sophie.
Sophie Huber.
Yes, that is your wife.
That is my wife.
She is a talented documentary filmmaker.
Yes, she is.
She just made a movie about Blue Note Records.
Yes,
right?
she did.
Yeah.
And it is gorgeous.
Yeah.
And you walk away not only knowing I knew nothing about jazz, except I love Thelonious Monk,
Okay, sure.
and Miles Davis, but I didn't really know anything about jazz. And you come away not only having an education and a new appreciation for the genius of jazz and improvisation, but also just music in general. It's beautiful. And she also made a great film about the actor Harry Dean Stanton.
Right, I saw that, yeah.
That's perfect meditation for that man.
But because you have been out for so long, and because you have kissed former lovers on the Tony Awards, your love life has been very well known over the years. And I want to know how you met Sophie, and how did she come into your life, and what do you look for? And she's obviously not in the business.
I don't look for.
You don't?
No.
Did she look for you? Did she knock on your door?
I think we found each other. Yeah. Unlike Leslie Mackinaw, I'm a very...
You're the anti-Leslie Mackinaw.
I know. I shouldn't get that out. The other is much more appealing, but I'm rather shy in that department when it comes to, yes. But I moved into a house. I needed a place to live. I found it on Craigslist, this lovely apartment in this house, and she lived there, and we became friends.
Cool.
And then years later,
well, that's the best way, right?
It really was.
Do you think about your career in a larger scope, or you just sort of
I'm not that. No.
take it as it comes?
I take it as it comes, and that's a great gift to be in that position. And there's certainly been years when I didn't think anything at all was going to come. As long as I can keep my health and keep my brain cells, I hope I can just keep being surprised by little. And it doesn't take much. Just good people and good work, and getting to go hang out with the crew. And then I'm happy as can be.
And things like Lifespan of Fact come along.
Yes.
And you don't see them coming.
Jeffrey Richards pulled me aside one night and said, I want to send you a script. And I read it and thought it had such potential. And here we are. It's just, they just come out of the blue, and I love being surprised.
I love it too.
And I don't like to make work for myself, because that never goes well. Then there's too much. No, it doesn't. The only thing I ever said yes to that I was sort of the central person of was Agony from me. So I like to be an addendum to something.
Okay.
Yeah.
You just want to show up and do the work.
Too much pressure, yeah.
And hang out with the crew.
Yeah.
And cool people like
And
Bobby
cool
and
people,
Dan.
yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty cool people.
Awesome. Well, it's a
Yeah.
fantastic play. And
Oh.
everyone needs to see it. It's running through January 13th
It is running through January
at
13th.
Studio
And
54.
it's very engaging.
Yeah.
And those boys are delicious.
Yeah, they are. I would love to see you guys do other things together. I don't know.
I wish we could.
Yeah.
I wish we could. I'm already feeling nostalgia for this one. I really am. I could go to that theater every night for the next year. Peel them off the walls, because I'm sure they'd be ready to go already. But yeah.
Thank you so much for being here,
Thank you,
Cherry.
Paul.
Everyone, check out Lifespan of a Fact through January 13th, and I hope to see you soon.
I hope to see you soon.
Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.